Today, I suppose we should have to turn our attention not to the grand chambers of Westminster nor the shadowy recesses of foreign diplomacy, but to the boot of a taxi in the French Alps. This is the story of David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, barrister, devout Anglican, and sometimes skiing holidaymaker, who now finds himself entangled in not in a diplomatic standoff with Moscow or Beijing, but with an aggrieved taxi driver from Avignon. The facts, as ever, are contested, but the bones of the story are these. After accompanying King Charles and Queen Camilla on a state visit to Italy, Mr. Lammy and his wife, the artist Nicola Green, took a private jaunt to the ski resort of Flaine in Haute-Savoie, and their chosen mode of transport, a 360-mile, 6-hour taxi ride from a place near Bologna, more Eurostar and chill, one might say, than let's keep the carbon footprint down. Now, the journey was booked through an agency, gettransfer.com, and according to the Lammys, the fare was settled in full, some £1,305, with the agency covering £717 and the remainder allegedly paid by the couple. But the driver, unnamed, though hardly silent, alleges that the €700 remained unpaid. So even despite the arrangement with 1,305 and 717 pounds paid by the agency, €700 was not paid. Not only unpaid, but refused. And then the driver seems to have snatched, allegedly, along with the receipt from his hand, and snatched the contents of the the luggage. And Mr. Lammy allegedly growing aggressive, the driver, affronted, one assumes, a touch bewildered, drove to the police. But alas, with more than just indignation in the boot, diplomatic passports, license plates, and a coded briefcase belonging to the Lammys, all these things were still on board. So began the cross-alpine farce. An investigation was launched by the Bonneville prosecutor's office, and Lammy and Green, now cast as victims, swiftly countersued the driver for theft and the alleged disappearance of money from Green's luggage. Miss Green, for her part, told police she was threatened by the cabbie, who, it is claimed, revealed a knife in his glove box during a tense exchange. The briefcase was returned, the cash allegedly was not. The French legal system, which delights in a slow glacial crawl, not unlike the Alps themselves, has charged the driver with theft. He's due in court this November. Now let's pause. Not for judicial speculation, after all, the matter is sub judice, and one shouldn't get too involved in the details, but to reflect on what this reveals about this political moment. First, this is not, as some tabloids have shrieked, the scandal of the century. It's not even the scandal of the ski season. But it is indicative of the strange collusion of public and private that affects all ministers, particularly those with global briefs and celebrity profiles. And the fact that a minister's private holiday can become a diplomatic incident because of a cab fare is both comic and tragic. The optics. Lammy is a Labour grandee, positioned to soften foreign policy and a man of immense rhetorical skill. But stories like this, especially ones involving luxury resorts and vanished cash, are catnip for populists and poison for public trust. It feeds the cynical narrative that all politicians, regardless of party, are pampered elites with a tenuous grasp on what happens in the real world. And then there's the absurdity of diplomacy. We spend millions on embassies, legations, attachés, red carpet summits, and at the end of the day, one rogue minicab driver can spark a cross-border incident more entangled than a G7 communique. It rather recalls that 19th century observation: history repeats itself first as a tragedy and then as a farce, though this one seems to have skipped directly to pantomime. And finally, we must ask, was this a case of Lammy losing face or just losing luggage? We don't know. The French courts may eventually tell us. What we do know is that in the realm of international relations, sometimes the most volatile terrain isn't nuclear policy or trade tariffs, but who picks up the tab. Until then, Lammy insists he is the victim. The driver insists he was stiffed. The luggage for a time was in limbo, and we are left with the delicious image of a Labour Foreign Secretary chasing his Samsonite suitcase down an alpine road while muttering about cross-border arbitration. Whatever the outcome, I think this is probably a lesson in diplomacy. As in Uber rides, always check the meter and never ever leave your briefcase in the boot.